Hey team, Mitch here from Joe's Basecamp in Brookvale. We are bringing you another Basecamp Daily video, just a short video explaining some technique for you today. So I'll be working through some kettlebell technique, 3 exercises, kettlebell swing, kettlebell clean, and then a kettlebell snatch. So obviously you will need just 1 kettlebell to work through this. You can do all of these with 2, but I'm just going to go through single arm variations today. The reason I've selected these 3 is because they're all fantastic exercises in their own right to be used individually, but it also will allow you to progress from the swing, which is the easiest of the 3, up towards a snatch, which is the more difficult one. So it's going to allow you to progress and see what you might need to look for to get through to those next movements, because the clean and the snatch especially are 2 quite difficult and quite technical movements by way of kettlebell exercises. Cool? So we'll get straight into it. I'll explain through it as I go. So our swing, firstly, just so we know what we're doing with each one, I'll just give us a quick demonstration and then I'll run through your technique points. So single arm, swing, power comes from the hips. It's just the movement from the body towards the eye level. Okay? Really good exercise for developing the back of the body, your butt, your core, really powerful through the hips. Now some technique things for us here. We'll just go from a standing start. It's all about hinging at the hips. So what that means, so I'm just going to pop this down for a second. It's about getting the movement from here with just a little bend in the knees, snapping forward fast, squeeze your bum. What we want to avoid is where we're doing a big squat down and then trying to use our knees to get up. That's one of the more common swing faults that we see. So we're trying to look for just a little bend at the knees, and you can see we snap forward, squeeze the bum, really powerful movement. Now you might notice as well, my right hand is following the same path, just on the outside. Reason being, if I want to alternate, then I have that hand ready to go, and I can go through an alternating movement there as well. So one of the more common exercises, when you're doing it single hand, just focus, shoulder back, powerful swing, snap up nice and quick. Let's go from there into the clean, and I'll show you what that will look like. You can either do it from the floor, so ground, to a front rack position, working like so, or we can do it from a swing, so that's why we need to have that swing in our little repertoire first, so we can apply it to the clean. Now, 2 things to be mindful of in terms of actually performing this exercise. The first one, which I think is really, really fundamental first, is making sure you have this front rack position nailed down. You know exactly where your rep should finish up. So we're looking for elbow in tight to the body. The kettlebell is sitting just between the forearm and the upper arm, and it's in nice and tight. Wrist is straight. What we want to avoid, and again what we see a lot, is when we're finishing up here or with the kettlebell up onto the shoulder here. So again, when we finish, we're right into that front rack. It means that if I wanted to go, say, into a front rack squat or into an overhead press, I'm in the right position to do so. So make sure you have that front rack first, try it on both sides, and know where you should sit. The next one is in terms of the actual performing of the movement. Now, one thing that's really important is that you don't grip the kettlebell too hard, because if you do, it will fly around and it will whack you on the arm. And it will look like this. It'll roll around and it won't be comfortable. You'll feel it hit quite hard. So what we want to think of, when you're about a quarter of the way into your swing, so when you're coming up to, say, here, I want you just to loosen up your grip on the actual kettlebell. So you can just practice going from here to here and just start to loosen the grip on the hand. From there, it means that when you come to the top, we can generate some more power, but we have that looser grip. So we're going to go quarter of the way, loosen the grip. Once we're about a quarter of the way from the finish, so we start to bend the elbow and we get near the finish, we're going to re-grip that kettlebell. So loose, get to the top, re-grip it, finish in really solid. Drop back down, loosen up through the hands on the way up, and then finish in tight. So for each rep, whether you're doing it from the floor or from the swing, you're going to keep the elbow in tight to the body, which is different from our full swing. Elbow in tight, finish in your front rack. Again, practice on both hands from the floor, which is a little bit easier, or from the hang. So getting it from the hang position will be a little bit more beneficial, and that you can translate it over to a few more exercises. If you're doing some sort of complex, it's a bit easier to go from that position than it is to go from the ground. So try and practice with both. It's good to have both handy as you go through. The next one is the kettlebell snatch. Probably the most difficult, but again, it still requires that you can get that swing motion down. And what it looks like is all the way overhead, return to the shoulder, snap back up. Okay? So really powerful motion there. Now all of these, again, are requiring that power through the hips. So it's really important, if you feel you're not getting enough power, that you drop back to your swing and make sure you can get a lot of force generated by getting that snap through the hips. So in terms of some technique things for our snatch, same thing I'm going to say, when you get to about a quarter of the way through that swing, I want you to loosen up your grip. Be really powerful to the top. When you're about a quarter of the way from the finish, I want you to try and punch the sky as hard as you can. So you grip the kettlebell, punch the sky. So from here to here, we're a bit looser with the grip. Again, it's going to stop it from rolling around and just smacking on the back of the hand. If you punch up fast, it's going to mean you're going to finish in that really strong position. So let's see what that looks like. So we do a powerful swing, we loosen our grip, and then we punch up really hard. So that last thing at the end there is probably the main thing that you're looking for, that punch straight up. And then you can see as well, my right hand is out just for that balance. Again, you can do this one. I'll go to my right hand now. You can do this from the floor and work through that same motion straight up. If you are doing it from the floor, you'll keep it a bit closer to your body, whereas if we're doing it from the swing, we'll go a little bit wider out in front. Either way though, again, it's good to practice both of them. So there's just some basic technique points for you. Start off with your swing. Make sure you can really generate that power through the hips firstly. If at any point throughout your clean or your snatch, you're noticing you lose that power, drop back to your swing, focus on whatever weight you have, being able to generate the force you need. With your clean, front rack. Really important that you nail that position and you feel comfortable with it. You know what you should be finishing with each and every rep. With your snatch, remember you want to have that really powerful punch up at the top. That's going to mean you finish in a strong position, you finish with a stable shoulder and a stable wrist, and then you're going to get that force you need to get the kettlebell right up without it rolling around and smacking the back of your wrist. So see how you go, have a play around with those exercises and different variations of them as well. Hashtag Basecamp Daily is the way you can post on your socials to let us know that you're doing them. Let us know if you have any requests of any other exercises you'd like us to cover. Otherwise, I'm Mitch, Joe's Basecamp in Brookvale. Have a good day. We will see you next time. Cheers.